Financial Times of London has described Nigeria as a country going backwards economically and plagued with terrorism, illiteracy, poverty, banditry, and kidnapping, and risk becoming a failed state if things don't take a drastic turn. The UK-based newspaper said this in an editorial on Tuesday titled Nigeria at Risk of Becoming a Failed State. He said the abduction and subsequent rescue of over 300 schoolboys in Kankara, Katsina State, revived memories of the 276 Chibok girls abducted in Borno State in 2014. According to the newspaper, while the government claimed that no ransom was paid to the abductors of the schoolboys remains doubtful, others act criminality could not be overlooked. The editorial read in parts, the government insists no ransom was paid. Skepticism is warranted. In a country going backward economically, carjacking, kidnapping and banditry among Nigeria's rare growth industry. Just as the boys were going home, Nigerian pirates abducted 6 Ukrainian sailors off the coast. The definition of a failed state is one where the government is no longer in control. By this yardstick, Africa's most populous country in teetering on the brink. The newspaper also questioned the claim by President Muhammadu Buhari that Boko Haram had been technically defeated. He said, contrary to the government's claim, Boko Haram remained an ever-present threat. The Financial Times stated, President Buhari in 2015 pronounced Boko Haram technically defeated. That has proved fanciful. Boko Haram has remained an ever-present threat. If the latest kidnapping turns out to be its work, it will mark the spread of the terrorist group from its northeastern base. Even if ordinary bandits carried out the mass abduction as now looks possible, it underlines the fact of chronic criminality and violence. Deadly clashes between herders and settled farmers have spread to most parts of Nigeria. In the oil-rich but impoverished Delta region, extortion through the sabotage of pipelines is legendary. The newspaper said security is not the only area where the state is failing. The Financial Times added that Nigeria has more poor people than any other country ever, even as Nigeria has the highest number of out of school children on earth. On earth. I mean, while Lai Mohammed is boasting that they are feeding people. The newspaper stated that as oil continues to lose its value, Nigeria's economy would worsen. Meanwhile, Lai Mohammed is telling us because they are not selling this thing for 100 naira the way they used to sell. And I asked the question, so now only oil you carry you come, you don't get another thing where you go diversify. Nothing. And I never feel say, oh, these are the other areas that we are exporting in large quantity, just like oil. Those are the things they told us during their campaign in 2014-2015. The population, already above 200 million, is growing at a breakfast 3.2% a year. The economy has stalled since 2015 and real living standards are declining. This year, the economy will shrink 4% after COVID-19 dealt a further blow to oil prices. In any case, as the world turns greener, the earliest scramble for oil revenue will become a game of diminishing returns. The country desperately needs to put its finances propped up by foreign borrowing on a sounder footing, it said. The newspaper said Buhari, who has less than 3 years left in office, must use the remainder of his term to redouble efforts at improving security. It advised the government to restore trust in key institutions, among them the judiciary, the Security Service and the Electoral Commission, which will preside over the 2023 elections. The Financial Times said the #EndSARS protest led by Nigerian youth signaled a glimmer of hope for Nigeria's teeming youth population. It added the broad coalition that formed political expression this year in the EndSARS movement against police brutality provides a shard of optimism. At least Nigeria has a relatively stable democracy. Now, Nigeria's youth, creative, entrepreneurial, and less tainted by the politics of extraction, should use that system to reset the country's narrative. The newspaper concluded by saying that it was time for Nigeria to restructure its political system and concentrate on security, health, education, power, and roads. At the present trajectory, the population will double to 400 million by 2050 if nothing is done. Long before then, Nigeria will become a problem far too big for the world to ignore, it warned. That's a bill. Now so the matter bill, but they don't go agree. The so-called Buhari and Buharists, they will not go agree for this whole thing. It's glaring before us there. Okay, people making this country to be a faith state, as far as God Almighty loves and bless this country with vast mineral and human resources, He would protect the country from the wicked leaders of the country. Everything was turned upside down during this man regime, and lack of security, lack of electricity, lack of everything. Kidnapping was up to this before, wasn't up to this before, but I don't even hear anything like that before. But this time of Buhari, we were hearing bandits, esme, kidnapping, and so on. A country where everybody is apprehensive of traveling from one end to the other for the fear of a kidnapping by Buhari brothers alias Fulani. The analysis that led to this conclusion is very wrong. Nigeria, since the inception of this administration, has been a failed state. Nigeria became failed experiment long time ago. That is 6 years immediately. Those who attempted to concord it stepped aside physically. If not that intellectualism and scholarship have been relegated to the background, no one will still be contemplating whether Nigeria is a failed British experiment or not. For example, almost 4 decades ago, the late Pa Achebe drew this conclusion based on evidence at the time that Nigeria is not a great country. It is one of the most disorderly nations in the world. It is one of the most corrupt, insensitive, inefficient places under the sun. It is one of the most expensive countries and one of those that give least value for money. It is dirty, callous, noisy, ostentatious, dishonest, and vulgar. In short, it is among the most unpleasant places on earth. You can imagine. As if that is not enough. Up till now, as have things changed? That is the question. I always talk about those things that a fella used to talk in those days. We didn't know that those things were happening with child's play, and with what Achebe said, it's even worse now. Very, very worse. So guys, let's say your opinion and let's know your thoughts on this.